Now, the Chancellor has been ridiculed after U-turning on one of her first decisions to cut winter fuel payments for the majority of pensioners. Well, pensioners in England and Wales will now have their £300 payments reinstated as long as they earn less than £35,000 a year.
So Rachel Reeves turned the blame on what her party inherited from the previous government. When she spoke yesterday, this is what she had to say.
We had to make difficult decisions last year. The public finances were in a total mess when I became Chancellor last summer, and we had to take immediate action to get control and get a grip of the public finances. We have been able to do that. We've returned stability to the economy. In the first quarter of this year, our economy was the fastest growing in all of the G7, which now means we're able to make different choices. And that's why today I can announce that this winter, 9 million pensioners will now receive the winter fuel payment.
Well, Andrew Griffith is the Shadow Trade Secretary, and I'm delighted to say we can talk to him now this morning. Andrew, for Rachel Reeves, sorry seems to be the hardest word.
Yeah, and it just shows what a bad decision it was. I mean, there's no credit for, stealing someone, mugging their wallet, letting them shiver through the winter, something that pushes lots of pensioners into poverty, potentially increase the death rate amongst some, and then a year later saying, oh, by the way, on the back of a fictitious idea she's improved the economy, she's made the economy far worse. We've seen today unemployment figures showing that there's almost 100,000 people fewer on payroll employees than there were a year ago. The rate of unemployment is rising, just as interest rates and many other economic metrics. So it would be good if she'd said sorry. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. A terrible Chancellor. She's made a series of catastrophic decisions, even in her first year in office. And what a shower of a government that they're doing these U-turns. All governments hit bumps in the road. The one I was part of certainly did that. But to do that on something that was so premeditated after such a short period of time really shows they're in chaos.
Well, you heard the Chancellor there blame the inheritance that your government left. She says the public finances were in a total mess and she had to take immediate action. Is that something that you accept?
No, and look, we all know people in life that, every single thing they blame on somebody else. I'm sad to say that is the quality, the calibre of the Chancellor we've got. The OBR never found any evidence of any black holes. Of course there's spending pressures, but you know what? If the biggest issue is that you're trying to put the public finances on a surer footing, then don't go on the sort of spending spree that this Chancellor has done. She's going to announce tomorrow that this government is borrowing record amounts, adding to the national debt. We're already paying $100 billion a year, much more than the defence budget, on interest costs alone. Now, some of that was the aftermarket of the after effects of COVID, and we were starting to turn that round. Inflation was falling. We'd got the public finances on a better footing. She came into office, took money away from pensioners, gave it to expensively paid train drivers, and has since gone on a public spending spree.
She was talking tough yesterday. She was sounding tough, but with no answers. There's £1.25 billion of a black hole to fill in lieu of the money she was taking from these winter fuel payments. So if I have savings, if I have shares, if I have a house, if I have inheritance, if I'm part of Middle England, should I be worried about where she's coming to find that money?
Be afraid, be very afraid, because the one thing that there's no doubt this week is that taxes will be going up. This Chancellor will be back in the autumn budget to take more of your money, put more people out of work through their red tape and the jobs tax, and to try and erode your savings and pensions. Every socialist government does that. They want to put more and more money into an unreformed public sector. Yesterday was just a down payment, the cost of returning people's winter fuel allowance, which should never have been taken in the first place.
Are you satisfied with the threshold as it is now? So pensioners earning less than £35,000 will be entitled to winter fuel. Is that enough, or should it be reinstated for all?
Well, it's another attack on people who've tried to do the right thing, tried to make provision for themselves in their retirement. I think, as a Conservative, those are good things. And in this whole debate, I don't think you get too religious about means testing some benefits, but there's also a role for the universality, both to put things back and also to make sure that people don't miss out. Now, ultimately, what we want is a society in which people keep more of what they earn, taxes are enduringly lower, and our economy can grow faster as a consequence.
But how would
the way the government has gone about this U-turn...
Sorry, Andrew, I was just trying to elicit from you how you would fill the deficit that she's faced with, 1.25 billion. So you say what she shouldn't do or what she's going to go out and do and how she's going to take money from people. How would you fill that hole? How would you raise money?
Eamon, there's lots of ways. I mean, the first thing is we would have a very, very different approach to welfare, both in terms of reducing the rate of growth. The Labour are having a big debate, tearing themselves apart right now, but only to reduce the rate of growth, not to stop that welfare bill growing each and every year. It's one reason why they won't commit to the defence budget that we badly need. So big debate about welfare, reducing the size of the state, cutting red tape, taking a chainsaw to many of the regulators, and as a result, seeing our economy growing faster and generating more wealth for everybody.
Can I ask you about the burqa ban row after Sarah Pochin asked about a potential ban on the burqa at PMQs last week? There's been a much wider conversation since. Kemi Badenoch saying she would support bosses having the right to ban staff from wearing burqas and other face coverings in the workplace. What do you make of that? Do you think it is a workplace issue?
Look, I wouldn't use the clunking fist of the law to try and, ban a particular type of dress. I think there are real concerns, and in spaces that are regulated, like the workplace, like members of parliament's surgeries, probably like parliament itself, there's a role for whoever is regulating those spaces to decide what those dress codes are, just as we have uniforms in school. Many people at work wear a particular dress code and a uniform, and of course, we all want to be able to look each other in the eye, in the face. But as a Conservative Liberal, I don't think it's the job of the state to go around banning things, whether it's a particular dress code, whether it's a type of advert on television.
Well, Andrew Griffith, thanks for looking us in the eye this morning. Appreciate your answers. Andrew Griffith is the Shadow Trade Secretary. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. So we say goodbye to Andrew and